I think the players were really excited about having the opportunity to go out and practice, together as a team, which has kind of been a long time coming. Um, I think our players did a great job of managing all the uncertainties that we've had, the entire summer. Um, they've worked hard. The strength and conditioning coaches have done a great job with them. We made significant progress physically, with a lot of our players, which we're very pleased with. Um, the days that we were allowed to have, 1 hour on the field with them and 1 hour in meetings went extremely well. It was pretty much like a mini camp, except we just couldn't do full speed, kind of team type stuff. But the players did some of that on their own, like 7-on-7, and it went very, very well. Um, Look, we continue to try to give our players an opportunity to play. They want to play, to be able to compete, to be able to create value for themselves. And we're working very, very hard to give them an opportunity to do that in a safe way. Um, every player on our team has been told you don't have to do anything that you're not comfortable with. All right, so anything that we're asking you to do that you're not comfortable with, you don't have to do it. And with that being said, we have a lot of privacy, laws relative to college athletics and college athletes, and we're going to respect those things when it comes to, health issues with our players. Those things will be kept internal to the team, and we'll keep those things, in-house. We're acting in the direction of, the SEC Medical Task Force, the CDC, a lot of other folks to try to comply 100% with everything that we can do to create a safe environment for our players. And I think it's twofold. The bubble we have here, we've been very successful with. We've had less than a 2%, positive rate since I think the last month or so, less than 1% the last couple weeks. So the personal bubble that guys have to form outside of here, I think, will be a real key to us being able to keep the players safe and keep them healthy, and that's relative to what they do, as a student. All right, so we're trying to give them direction on that. We have the Surgeon General speaking to the team tonight, which we're trying to inform our players and give them the best possible education in every possible health and medical issue that COVID-19 can possibly present to them. And we're constantly weighing the consequences of playing, but we're also weighing the consequences of not playing, and how that would impact the players and what they would do and the isolation that it would create for them and how we can manage it for them. So our goals for fall camp, are not much different, even though this is not really going to be camp. It's going to be more like, in-season practice, is to form hardcore fundamentals of discipline, work ethic, mental and physical toughness to be able to sustain. Obviously, conditioning is a really important part of that, which we always have to improve on. We want the players to improve their fundamentals in terms of technique, but also in their knowledge of offense, defense, and special team systems so that they have a chance to go out there and compete. And play well and create value for themselves when and if they get the opportunity to do that. And we want to come together as a team and, have a lot of pride in being an Alabama football player and being responsible for, what goes with the accountability and responsibility that goes with what a player has to do to represent this university and our team. So with that, I'll take questions.
Coach, have any players opted out, and can you give us an update on is anyone injured at the start of camp?
Right. We only have Brandon Cajo has a slight knee injury, probably out for a few days. Like I said, we're not going to we're going to keep all those issues internal to our team. The players have asked me to do that. And I agree with them. That's what I meant by the privacy laws of what we have to do to protect guys, in college football. So, if and when a player's ready to make an announcement about that, we'll give it to you, and that'll be his prerogative to do that.
Next is Heather Dinich. Please unmute yourself, Heather, and go ahead. ESPN.
Nick, can you hear me?
Sure.
If you are able to have a college football season this year, how do you think the college football playoff should change, if at all, to determine a national championship in a year that's so unpredictable and strange?
Well, obviously that's a hypothetical question, but in my opinion, there's going to be 3 conferences playing. I think the players look forward to the playoffs. I think the players that play should have an opportunity to have a playoff and have a championship for the teams that are playing. That's my opinion. I'm sure there's a lot of people that may or may not agree with that, but if we're fortunate enough to be able to manage this with player safety being the number one concern for all of us, and that we can go through a season and we can figure out who the best teams are, I think there'll be a lot of interest to see those teams play, and I know the players would certainly look forward, to playing. That's one of the biggest questions our players ask us. Coach, if we play, will we be able to play in a playoff? We want to have a chance to play in a championship if we have a good season. So that's where I sort of formulate my opinion from, is what our players think.
Okay, we're going to go to Michael Casagrande with AL.com. Michael, unmute yourself.
Yeah, Nick, I know there's a lot of talk about the players and their health, but just wondering about you. What's your approach to the health protocols as someone who's maybe in an age range that's maybe more at risk than some of the players?
So you calling me an old, I'm not going to say it.
More so than the players, maybe.
Look, we have a lot of respect for what we need to do with everybody in our organization in terms of what we got to do to stay safe. I mean, we all wear masks in the building. I just took mine off to come in here because it was so hot outside. I wear one that's around your neck and you pull up like you're robbing a bank, whatever they're called. Everybody in the building does that. We've done everything that we can do here. We've have Syntex in the building, which is supposed to kill germs and all kind of stuff circulating. So we test our players at the beginning on Sunday. We've done it ever since the 4th of July so that they know that the players that they're working out with are healthy and safe, and then we do it later in the week. So our players are used to being tested twice a week, which is most people are just starting now, but we've been doing that all along because I wanted every player to know the guy he was working out with or doing some drill with or whatever was not something that he had to fear, and I think that's helped us tremendously. Look, I practice social distancing. We try to keep our distance when we're away from here, our personal bubble, Miss Terry and I, and just, our immediate family. When I go see my mother, who's 88 years old, we sit 10 feet apart on a park bench and talk for 45 minutes or an hour. I say, Mom, I'm not giving you a hug today because I love you. So, I think there's a lot of changes that we all have to make in our lifestyle and the things that we do to try to stay safe, and we certainly have respected those things. We do the same thing when we're in meetings with players. We stay spread out. Everybody has social distance. Everybody wears a mask. So we're doing everything we can to stay safe, and I don't fear this because we're trying to do the right thing, and we have great medical care here, and we've got great medical protocols to try to keep people safe, and I feel very confident in trying to respect and do those things as well as possible.
Okay, we're going to go to Aaron Suttles. Aaron, please unmute yourself.
Nick, what's the one area of the defense you want to see improve this year, and what role maybe does Dylan Moses play in that?
Well, I think we need to improve overall on defense. We gave up 18.5 points a game last year, which is the most we've given up. The last 2 years, we've given up the most points we have for a long time. And, I think we need better leadership. I think Dylan Moses can provide some of that. I think we have to play better against the run. I don't think we played very well in the red area last year. We did a great job of getting turnovers. We got 28, turnovers last year, which was first in the conference. But we just have to get more physical at the line of scrimmage. I think the big challenge for this team, because of the 4 starters we lost in the secondary out of 5 guys, is to get that rebuilt with some good players who lack experience. But they are good players, and we have confidence in them. So, but that's going to be a key to the drill, especially the fact that we didn't have spring practice and we weren't able to work with these guys as much as we usually are. But I really think a lot of these Zoom things that we did in the off season and the meetings that we had really helped players conceptually understand the defense and what they were supposed to do. Maybe not so much how they were supposed to do it, but why it's important to do it that way and what they were supposed to do. I think there was a lot of benefit to a lot of that.
We'll go to Kirk McNair. Kirk, go ahead.
Here.
Go ahead, Kirk.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, Coach, I'm sorry. This sort of goes to something you said before, but I was thinking about how much you like to go first on first, and if things like that have to be adjusted, or do you think they have to be adjusted?
I didn't understand.
Say that again, Kirk. We're having trouble hearing you.
I think, Coach, you like to go a lot of first on first, or more than most people maybe. And I wonder if first on first is a concern with the situation.
Why would it be? I mean, I don't know why it would be. I don't understand the reasoning behind the question.
I'm sorry, the question, I guess, is like, would you put your left tackle against your best pass rusher for an extended period of time? Or would you maybe go first on second more? I'm sorry, that's not clear.
I think in the case if someone got it.
Yeah, well, we're trying to know that the guy you're playing against in practice doesn't have it through extensive testing. We have a testing center here, and every player can get tested every day if they want to. So I still think there's value in practicing good on good, challenging people. We have got some medical information that when people are outside and they're just briefly in contact with each other, they do have the shields on, that they're not at great risk of spreading this disease. But at the same time, we're hopeful that we're not putting anybody out there that has it. And we certainly, one of the reasons that we're only going to play SEC teams is we can control the protocol of making sure whoever we're playing against and whoever they're playing against does not have it as well. So I have thought about, when we were doing workout groups and so forth in the summer, not putting all the receivers in the same group, don't put all the offensive linemen in the same group. So if one guy got it, that whole, position would get wiped out. We did think about some of those things, but really haven't thought about the good on good part of it.
Time for a few more. We'll go to Kyle Henderson with Rivals. Kyle, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you very much. Nick, the full schedule was released tonight from the SEC. What is your take on the SEC only schedule? What challenges and opportunities does this present for your organization?
Well, I think that, people made a decision based on, player safety, what was best for the league, what we could control player safety with. And, there was a lot of expert people that I have a lot of respect for medically as well as professionally who, made this decision. It's not an easy decision, but it's something that we're, all committed to trying to create a safe environment for the players to be able to play and compete. I think the fact that we're playing 10 SEC games, I've been a guy that's been wanting to play 10 SEC games for a long time. So this year we get to do that. I think it's good for our players who get the opportunity to create value against 10 really quality opponents, in our league. And I think it's going to be very challenging because, it's going to be every week you're going to have a very, very good opponent. But I think it's, good for the fans. hopefully it'll create a lot of interest. And I'm pleased with it. And I looked at this schedule, and I think they did it as fairly as possible. And we go to Missouri to start, play Texas A&M early. We got to play everybody at some point in time, so we just got to take them one game at a time. So, and that's exactly how we've always approached it, and we will approach it right now.
Two more quick ones. We'll start with Mike Rodak. Mike?
Nick, just there was a lot made yesterday with some of the students returning to campus, and a lot of them weren't wearing masks and gathering in large crowds. Obviously, Greg Byrne came out and was pretty vocal against that. Just what was your view of that, seeing that yesterday?
Well, I think democracy is great, and I think people that have all these freedoms, I think that's all great. But I think there's one thing that is probably a common denominator that really makes all that work, and that's that people have great moral integrity in the choices and decisions that they make. And I'm not criticizing anybody here, but a lot of people have asked that we wear masks when we're in public, when we're in crowds, when we're in large groups of people, that we keep social distanced. And I don't think they're doing that just for the heck of it. I think there's a reason for it. We're trying to control the spread of this disease, and I think that our ability to do that is going to go a long way in saying whether we can play football or not. But bigger than that, it's just your own personal bubble for your own personal safety. Every one of these students to take the proper care of themselves and respect the protocols that people are recommending for your safety. And I just think that's the smart thing to do.